He's lazy. He was gonna kill that slug and eat him, and didn't. It was too much work. He just moves on. This tank is becoming an assassin paradise again. I'm gonna collect 50 again for credit. So right now I probably have about 10 maybe. Max. 10-ish. And all the ones in here right now are alive. I got this heater to work. So the issue with it wasn't leaking, what it was is that the flow from the spout to the water was so large it was splashing out. And the tank has all these holes on the top where it would splash out. So I just put this here and maintains the level like the other tanks, minus the evaporation obviously from here. And because the temperature is not as cold, but it creates like a humidity dome, and then the fruit flies aren't getting in there because there was a real problem with it. There's a ton of fruit flies living in this tank. That's why I had to do major rehab on it. But that's also why I covered this whole thing. I covered this whole thing because the fruit flies, I didn't want them having more area to get in. There's still like two holes on the back for outlets where there's air, but there's too much access for a fruit fly, and I caught one literally using this in the sponge. There was one like stuck in it. Like obviously would have gone in if he could have. He just lost his access point. So there's definitely less. And the reason I also wanted to put the assassins is because they will eat the fruit flies, right? Hypothetically. So I don't know. I'm hoping so, because I see them in the water sometimes. But also my end goal obviously is still to have this be the racing where I will be racing the worms. I just have to consider a major setback and kind of start from scratch because of what happened to the tank. I completely restarted it pretty much. I mean, yeah, I kept, like, I didn't gravel back everything, but I did like major water changes every single day for a couple days until it was clearer. And then now I actually have plants that are, because I had floating plants where the fruit flies were living on in here. I need to take these ones out. But a lot were dying and just creating waste because there wasn't enough light reaching them. But that was the only plant source, so I put these. And this one was in the other small little tank like this inside, and I put it in this one instead, and it is doing amazing. I put it in here a couple days ago. It was looking so poor compared to what it is now. And then this is the time from the herb garden pot, and it is doing fantabulous now. I put 2 basils. You can't really tell because I trimmed them yesterday and gave some to Ollie. So, but they did have a lot of leaves. I put this one in today, well, last night technically. So it hasn't. This one was also in the small tank system, but it hasn't had enough time, so I'm expecting this one to really perk up. And these two are the pickings from the garden tomato plant. So I only wanted one plant to be in the garden, and these soak up so much waste, and it's growing some roots, so it's going to be a really great system with the worms, because I'm assuming the worms are going to be so much waste because you have dying worms and you have the food you're giving them to cultivate them. I don't know how it works. I still need to learn more about that. But if you're feeding them and there's nothing but worms and there are no, like, I'm gonna take all the snails out. I'm gonna let the assassins eat all the pest snails I put in there, basically. Put them in there to help cycle it for a week or two, probably 2 weeks. I'll be letting them live in there, and then I'll start the experiment with the snails, let the garden, like the plants, get used to this. This is the final setup for the plants. There's no more space for, hey, shh. There's no more space for any more plants, so this is the final setup of this system. This is Swiss chard, thyme, basil, romaine, very young seedling, and assassin and bladder snails are in here. The temperature is 78, and I'm not feeding the tank at all whatsoever because there's plenty of algae and leftover skunk still in the tank that was still not cleared out from everything that happened. I literally it was really sad because there were 2 live assassin snails before. There was a bunch of assassin snails in here, but there was a glass heater and, you know, all the water evaporated out of the tank, so the heater broke. 2 assassin snails withstood that for over a month, no heater in the garage in the winter. And then I decided to like try to work on the tank again, and obviously messing with things in here, I had to like, this entire thing in the back was clogged. This thing here, that faucet was clogged. Because basically how I recommend setting it up is putting a sponge material on the bottom here so no rocks can clog this, because that caused a major problem for the flow. And yeah, I put way too much of the pebbles in too, which also caused problems. I raised this piece extra so there's better flow, and I removed, there was also a sponge at the bottom of this. That one was supposed to be on the bottom of that, and it was causing problems because the flow here between these, and so I removed that. So basically just a water pump, the ceramic ball media and the media that came with this tank setup, plus this one like half of a sponge that came with it as well. Filter floss is here just for the problems mentioned. And I'm actually gonna fill this tank up all the way to here, to the bottom of this line. I think that's what makes it a 3-gallon tank. And then the water between these two, where this tube is, are just meeting. So it's constant flow between the water and the tank and this whole system. And that is what creates such a good like immediate return of filtering the water for when the worms will be in here. Like it'll immediately filter. It doesn't just need a pump through here. This pumps, but to make the water come out here, but also it'll have the ability to flow equally between here. So I'll try that out and see if it works, and update with if it does or not. But yeah, this has been a problem child, and it's finally like getting its act together. I had this grow light already that I was planning on figuring out something growing in one of the bookcases. It came with just a thing you could latch on. I just latched it on to the side of here and put it on the max setting, 12 hours max brightness a day, and it's really working well for the plant so far.